Welcome back to another episode of Worship Tech Booth Makeover. In this episode, you're going to learn about a budget-friendly way and an automated way to add some motion to your church's live stream using an automated glider. I'm not really sure what we're calling it. Just an automated slider camera. And here to tell us all about it is Spencer Trefsker, the one and only founder of Church Video School. Check out his YouTube channel, link down below. And Spencer's been on this channel multiple times in the past. He's been on many tech tours with me, and we made that really long church video production video last year. So
yeah,
check it all out. Links below. So tell us, what are we working with here today?
Yeah, so this is the GVM video slider. They have a few models, but generally they're all $400 or less. And essentially, using this control device and either one or two tripods, you can get automated camera movement in your live stream without adding a volunteer. And it's just a really good value.
Yeah, so break down for us kind of the setup process.
Sure. So essentially, this is just a very simple rail system. You've got the two rails you can obviously see right here, and then in between them is a third rail that bends and flexes, and you can adjust it here and here, and that lets you decide how the camera pivots as it rotates or slides left to right, so that you can get kind of a tracking shot, a true slide, or even a panoramic shot if you want to cover a lot of ground. So you kind of set that up, and if you put one tripod here in the center, tip, don't go all the way to the end because it'll fall over. So that's why we have these two little mini tripods here screwed in. And then just take a fluid head off a tripod, screw it right here on the plate, put your camera on, and hit go.
Yeah, because in the box, it comes with just the track rails. What do we call that part?
Yeah, the rails.
The rails
yeah.
or whatever, yeah.
Sure.
And then it comes with it does come with a cheap tripod head. Right?
Yeah, it's a ball head, I think.
It's a ball head, yeah.
Not great.
I have a Manfrotto video tripod. It's like one of the cheapest Manfrotto video tripod heads that I use for most of my tripods. And then I have two Manfrotto carbon fiber kind of travel tripods. So we put it here because, as you guys can see, this part of the tech booth that Spencer's in is a pretty useless part of the tech booth for having a workstation there.
Yep.
We used to have our broadcast audio there, but nobody can like walk behind you. There's not enough room. It's really just a walkway. So it actually worked out great, even for a spot in our sanctuary to have this type of camera perspective. So I'll go ahead and throw out some footage for you guys to show you kind of what this looks like. We've got the Pocket 4K camera with I can't even remember what focal length that is. Is it a 20?
It's a 50 equivalent.
50 equivalent, so it's probably like a 25 micro four thirds lens. And it gets a nice shot over the congregation with just some subtle movement. So I think it works pretty well. You guys can see in the footage there. The only thing we did discover is it would be nice if the camera you use it with had in-body stabilization.
Yeah.
Because you can see a little bit, there's a little bit of jitteriness or shaking, especially when it's like trying to pan, because the thing does a lot of stuff. It goes back and forth on the track, but it pans the tripod head, right?
Yeah, I think it's actually on. Oh. Yeah, so this is what it does. I'm not just... Someone actually programmed this differently than Sunday, so I'm not sure what it's going to do right now. But this is like as fast as it'll go. Normally it's a little bit slower. Okay.
Yeah, I think Aaron was in here playing with it.
Yeah. So it just, honestly, you just put it on loop, and you can just literally let it just run, and just don't cut to it when it gets to the end of the travel and stops and changes direction, because that's an awkward shot.
Yeah. So that's one of my favorite parts of this is how it's just automated. And we do have it, everything's plugged into power. The camera has a power supply. The slider has a power supply. And then we've got the SDI or HDMI cable coming out of it, made sure the cables don't get tangled. Mm-hmm. But that's a huge thing. I don't want to worry about batteries during the service, and even for our video director, because we don't have any camera people. All of our cameras are stationary except for this one, but this is an automated movement that we have. So it's just really nice to not have to worry about someone being back here messing with it. They can just kind of set it and forget it. Some of our video operators will, I think on Sunday, Chris, he wanted to pause it during the sermon so there wasn't movement.
Yeah.
I think I kind of prefer, though, keeping that slow movement even during the sermon.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same kind of shot, and it would probably be good, honestly, to use a zoom lens in this setup because from the sermon, it's a little bit far because this covers the full stage plus. And so if this is your B camera, during the sermon, it does seem a little distance as far as like framing goes. So to be able to change that is nice, but honestly, yeah, it looks good. It looks good moving no matter what's going on stage. And if you point it the right way, for the right type of panorama, you can keep it on the stage the entire time or even focus on your worship leader. If you put this up closer to the stage with a wider lens, you can really give a first-person feel without having someone standing up there too. So that's the other way to use these besides back of the room, down the center.
Yeah, it would be cool to have one of these maybe, like you said, closer front of the stage or even the side, like a side perspective, maybe by the piano player or something. Like you just have to, you'd want to make it so pretty much any way it's framed, like at any time, it'll pretty much look good. I'm sure there's a lot of creative stuff you can do with it. It'd be funny if you like put it behind like a wall partially, and then it was just like you could just have a reveal shot every 2 minutes or 30 seconds. Look ridiculous.
Over and over again. Yeah, if you have 7 cameras, I guess you could do that, but I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good. Noted, I assumed, because I've worked with these but not set them up out of the box, they actually don't come with a power adapter. So make sure you have just a regular like 12 volt DC, AC DC adapter if you want to run this. Really recommend not running on a battery if you can avoid it, just because batteries die, and they usually die at the worst time possible.
Yep. Yeah, you have to show me actually how to dial in these settings. Actually, just do it right now while we're on camera.
Sure.
Kind of show me.
All right, if you guys can see this. So I'm gonna turn it off and we'll start over here. So you power it on. It's honestly probably the worst thing about this is that this is a very clunky interface. So if you want to start it, you have to go set start and then adjust your speed. I think 85 is a kind of a sweet spot here. And then pick a direction and you'll see the camera starts moving a direction. And just whenever it gets where you want it to stop, you hit the center button here and then you hit it again. And then you hit it and hold it down to go back. And then you're going to do the same thing for the end point. You're going to just go the other way. So you're going to send it. So this is really clunky because you kind of have to wait for it to travel all the way from one end to the other. So let's just say this is good enough here. Hit that again and then get out of the menu and then get out of this menu back to the beginning, go to video shot, auto mode, and then loop. And from here, you just hit left or right, and now it's just going to run itself until you turn the power off. So
what about the orbiting effect, or like when it pans at the same time? Did you put that in there too, or is it just on slider?
No, so that's partly what makes this such an affordable slider is that all of the controls for how to set, whether it kind of orbits with a single focal point in front, whether it's panoramic with basically a focal point behind it and it's sweeping around, or whether it's like a tracking shot or truck shot, is just physically with this bending bar in the middle here. So you just loosen these. And honestly, just pick a side, and then kind of say, well, if I want it to point center, right, or left on this side, set it, then set the other side. So it's kind of analog, I guess, that way. And that's partly why it will shake a little bit at times going through the travel, because it's going over a bent bar, so the wheels spin at different speeds. But that's also why it's only $390 or whatever it is. So it works fine.
Yeah, so I would just, keep in mind, guys, when I was looking at reviews, I think there were some people who might have complained about there's maybe broke over time. Maybe there's going to be, because it's so affordable, maybe the lifespan isn't going to be super long. But I think for us, or in a lot of church environments, if you just have yours set up kind of in the same spot like this all the time, it's hard to believe that it would break too quickly, as opposed to maybe a mobile rig, you're setting it up every week, tearing it down, being a little bit rough on the gear. I wouldn't expect it to last, but who knows? We'll let you know. I'll let you know in the future, if this thing breaks. Just keep an eye on the channel, and you'll see, or you can keep an eye on our live streams at South Fellowship to see if we're actually using it still. But that is it. That's the GVM slider,
GVM.
Right? That's the GVM. I'll link it down below, along with all of our other resources there. Check out Spencer's YouTube channel. Thanks so much, Spence, for setting this up for me.
Yeah.
And I was really pleased with the results of the first Sunday of it. So smash like, subscribe, We'll see you guys next time.